What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of Love and Hip Hop Miami. I did not review the week before, so I'm gonna give y'all the Cliff Notes version until we get into the third episode. So, the second episode, we got Eliza and Shay. They met up at church to discuss their issues. They were able to squash it. Samantha, Joy's sister, was the life coach, and she was introduced to us by Shay's mom. But to me, I think it was an opportunity for Samantha to be integrated into the group because she still wants to paint the narrative that Joy took her man, and that was at the end of the episode where she confronted her about it. And then we got Pinky Doll. I don't take Pinky Doll seriously as a rapper. I just think that she is just playing a character to act as if she needs to be a rapper when I don't think she has the talent to be one. Michael is trying to keep both his worlds from colliding, okay? He wants to keep his fiance happy, but also trying to keep his new side chick happy, but at bay, because he's been in a relationship with her for about 5 years, but he also has gotten her pregnant on purpose in case Rada couldn't get pregnant. That was the end of the second episode. Let's get into the third one. We start off with Trick. Joy is banging on his door, telling him to wake his ass up because she wants to confront him about how did Samantha know where she was at. And why would you put me in that position? You know I would never do you like that. So what happened? How did Samantha know where I was? Trick said at his first housewarming, Hot Topic came up to him and told him that Samantha reached out to her to say that she needed to have a conversation with him. And that's it, that's all. I didn't want nothing else to do with her. I wanted to find a way to bring y'all together. That's it, that's all. But I don't want how it was going to go down. I'm not going to get in between two sisters fighting. Joy was in her confessional telling us that Samantha and Trick had their own little situation, but she thought it was over and done by the time her and Trick got together and got married. So to continuously carry the narrative that Joy was aware of them having a situation while they were married was a lie. And you know, Trick is all about trying to keep his peace. He don't want no problems with nobody. Joy is asking him, so you cool with her? After everything that's happened, you still gonna want to be with her? Or hang out with her and be around her? He said, listen, I don't want no enemies. Okay, I'm trying to leave what happened in the past, stay in the past. And, you know, she's going back to the time of not knowing that they were still together when they got together. And he said, listen, but you know, this was all before. This was over. Why are you bringing this up now? Y'all acting like y'all the first sisters I've ever had. I've had sisters way before y'all. That was fucked up for Trick to say. And I'm like, come on, Trick, take some accountability. All right, you got to understand that she was unaware of the situation. She had no clue that her sister was fucking around with somebody that she was getting involved with and ended up getting married. And she said, if I had known that, I wouldn't have invited her to my wedding. So she grabbed a bottle of water, poured it on him, because for you to tell Joy that y'all weren't the only sisters that you've ever had, as if that's what she needed to hear, she didn't need to hear that. That lets me know, do you really care about Joy? Did you care about Joy when you got with her? So she walks off. She grabs her things, leaves. Trick calls Trina and say, come get your cousin. I can't do it no more. I can't handle her no more. She just poured water on me. It's not like you didn't deserve it, Trick. Because instead of you consoling someone that you obviously still care about, you just have an odd way of showing it by being a fucking dick. You want to just throw it in her face. You've had sisters before, as if that was your plan, to fuck more sisters. Like, get the fuck out of here. So Joy says she'll be back to get her things, and that was it. That was all. Like, I was on Joy's side at that point. Because at the end of the day, Joy had no clue that Samantha was coming around. Joy had no clue what was going on in her own marriage. And that's all you had to say to her? Yeah, Trick, fuck you for that. So we're moving on. We got Michael. He's driving around looking for a place for him and Rada. She is in Arizona, getting prepared to have the baby. And he's going to join up with her next week. So he meets up with his friend to find a place. And I don't know where this place was. Either a condo or an apartment. But to me, it don't look like a good place to live as far as to raise a child, because it is an oceanfront view apartment. But I do think that's a pricey place to live, but I don't think that is a family-friendly place. I think you need something more in the city. I think you need a townhome or actual house, not an apartment. Like, and it wasn't even that good. It didn't look pretty. It didn't look like it was a great spot. No. The only thing that made it beautiful was the water view. But anyway, moving on. Nadia calls and trying to get him to pay attention to her and to convince her No. So Nadia calls, and she's trying to get his attention to convince him to come with her to take maternity photos. And she wants to do it in a couple of weeks. Of course, Michael really doesn't want to do any of those kind of things with Nadia because he's still trying to keep her at bay and be all about Rada. But you know, Nadia, she is wanting more attention and recognition, to think that her role is going to be more because she's having his baby. It's like, girl, no. And he's like, I don't know why she thinks we're going to become more serious when she knows I already have Rada. Rada's in my number one, and Nadia's going to be number two. Like, Nadia is living in the land of milk and cookies to think that because you're having his child, you're going to be in a higher place than the rest of the girls. Girl, be for real. Like, I don't know what is going on in her head to think that because you wanted to have a baby with him, that that was going to make you be any different than the side chick you've been for the last 5 years. Okay, good night. So when he gets off the phone, his friend asked who was that. He said, Nadia. Word? Really? Yeah, you know, he said he's known her for about 5 years, but for the last 3 years, he's been sleeping with her, and she is pregnant. And she is pregnant around the same time that Rada got pregnant. So his babies are going to be born a month apart. So he's telling him, you got to slow down, man. And you got to tell Rada. He knows he has to tell her, but he is literally looking forward to not tell her because he wants to keep it to himself until after Rada has the baby, because he doesn't want to stress her out and have any complications. I get that, but Michael, what you also need to do is grow the fuck up. Because even though, Rada, this kind of situation you had going on with him, I can't feel that sorry for you. You gave this man access to fuck around with multiple women once a month. And he literally did that and got one pregnant on purpose. Like, just ridiculous at this point. Like, it makes no sense for women to subject themselves, all for the sake of Michael Blackson. I can't. Moving on. We got Tip. She is at some type of Turkish bath spa with her man. Her man name is Chuck. They have been on and off for a while, but they're really trying to be more serious about their future. And she can't enjoy her day because she's too busy thinking about Amada. Now she's saying she is so mad at Amada because she wants to remind her of her worth, let her realize she is worth more than to follow a man that doesn't want her. And she's getting so upset while thinking about it, but her man isn't telling her, why are you so mad? If she's not listening to you, then why are you getting involved? It's messy. Tip didn't like that she was being called messy because she is saying that the whole world wants to know, how did Amar get involved with a man like that? How did you get engaged with a man that you knew was married? Let me tell you this though, Tip. We already saw this all go down. I don't know why you think you're giving us the huge discovery of how she got involved with him when we saw it happen on the show. And she said it went left when she talked about how her daughters are going to look at her and how they're going to think she's weak. And they got physical. And she said it took to a whole nother level, and now she's thinking she's feeling vindicated because she contacted the wife. Now they want to do some type of true crime documentary effect on Tip when she is looking on social media to find Alan's wife on social media to DM her and say, we got to talk, come to Miami. So we find out that Alan and his wife are coming down to Miami to celebrate their 7th wedding anniversary. Out of all the times he's been on Love and Hip Hop, we have never seen him talk about bringing his wife on the show. He's always made excuses that his wife don't want to leave the DR. So I don't know why you think Amada is trying to keep up a facade of her not trying to be real and honest about how she got involved with this man when we saw it the whole entire time. Why are you so invested in trying to get the truth? Like, Tip, what do you have going on? Like, did you forget you have a son that's going to college? Are you done stripping? I mean, you tried to give us a little Tubi movie. Like, is that going to be your life producing? Like, I don't know what it is you got going on. Like, you still rapping? What are you doing with your life right now that you are using all of it to be all in Amada's business? Make it make sense. Whatever, Tip. Whatever. Go find something else to do. Moving on. We see Joy. Joy is at a hotel. She had to leave the house before she ends up on the first 48. And she feels like Samantha and Trick have no respect for her. Trina comes by and it's a pajama party, or this was very late in the evening where everyone's getting ready for bed, because I don't see the whole pajama aspect of it. Trina said, I got called out of my bed to get involved in this, so I need answers. She says she's upset with Trick because Trick told Samantha where she was living, and they had the worst argument ever. And instead of him not taking accountability of how it got messed up, he threw it in my face that y'all aren't the sisters I've had. Like the damage he threw in my face. Like that is so hurtful to me. And it's like you don't care. And what hurt me even more is that Hot Topic was brought up. And I was like, why is she being brought up? And she's the reason why Samantha was brought back into the picture. Now, Trina was already annoyed when she heard Hot Topic's voice. And I was annoyed too. Because we all saw Hot Topic do way too much the season before by getting involved in Trina's marriage. And she's doing the same shit by bringing Samantha back. Like, girl, what is the problem? All of a sudden, she wants attention. What is her reason? Joy said it's because she wants to have a relationship with me. Trina said, hell no, she needs to have a relationship with you. She holds you no value. Why come back after all these years? Why keep bringing up old wounds? Like, this could have been squashed years ago. Why you want to come at her with this now? And I have to agree, it don't make sense. You want to come back on reality TV? Actually, not even come back. Samantha, you want to use this time to come on a reality show to spin the narrative that your sister stole your man. Really? Okay. Like, this whole thing is fucking bullshit. She calls Trick out for being out of pocket. She calls Samantha out for being out of pocket. Joy wants to hold both of them accountable. And now her sister is extremely wrong, and that's why we don't fuck with each other. So Joy and Samantha are sisters from their dad's side, but apparently dad's side of the family got some shit going on, and Joy don't fool with them. That's why she always be around Trina. She said, we are your family. We got you, okay? Hot Topic comes by, and Trina was going off by the time she answered the door by calling her messy. She said, what you got going on with Samantha? Why am I hearing you in some shit again, huh? Why are you messing up Trick and Joy? What's going on? I'm hearing you met up with her. Now, Hot Topic said you were sadly misinformed, but I don't give a fuck what Hot Topic got to say. She knew she was being messy when she brought Samantha's name up to Trick, and she don't want to be held accountable that she was trying to start some shit. And that's what I didn't like about Hot Topic the season before, when she wanted to find out more about, was it Swerve, Trina's husband? And she wanted Bobby to be included, but Bobby said, I don't want nothing to do with it. And she did her due deals, got involved, did some investigating, but then made it seem as if Bobby put her up to it, when Bobby didn't want to be involved in it anyway. It's like Hot Topic, keep it a buck. You wanted to be nosy. You wanted to find out what was going on, but instead of you being accountable and say, yes, I did, I shouldn't have did it, no, you want to be like, don't shoot the messenger. It's not my fault. Bitch, take accountability for how it started, period. Trying to say, I just want to keep my conscience clean. I'm just the messenger. No, 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 no. Your tone and your delivery, how you deliver the message, has some intent by it. So fuck out of here. So she just wants to know, listen, no, she just wanted to tell them, all I did was relay the message that Samantha told her that she needed to get in contact with Trick on some prophecy shit, and that she wishes she would have never relayed the message, because she just found out that Trick and Samantha was sleeping with each other the entire time Joy was married. Do that bomb out. Joy and Trina was totally shocked by that information. Here go Hot Topic. Y'all had no idea that was going on? Because he literally just told me. Oh my God, Hot Topic, you just can't help yourself, can you? Just so casually say that without having pure facts. I mean, how do you know that Trick even said it? She said, I literally was just told this, and had I known, I would have never connected this, Samantha and Trick. Fine, whatever. Trina was like, it's time for me to go. I don't know what's going on here. Joy is still blindsided about the whole situation, and talking about how is Samantha telling me she's forgiven me when the whole entire time she was sleeping with my husband behind my back. How am I supposed to be forgiven when you're the one that was doing me foul? So she said both Trick and Samantha can burn in hell, and I need to check this bitch ASAP, and I have to agree. Like, how you gonna say you forgive me when I don't even know what it is I need to be forgiven for, and you were the one who did me dirty? Make it make sense. Moving on. So we got Amada. She's heading over to the studio to apologize to the new girl for ruining her performance. When she walked in, she heard her lay down some vocals on a new track, and she can actually hear her voice and says she's really talented. And that Amada really wasn't paying attention to her performance because she was too busy fighting with Tip. To be honest though, I don't know. The first time I heard her voice, I could hear something, but I really couldn't hear anything clearly. Now in the booth, I still can't hear her voice clearly. It sounds horrible, in my opinion. And the new girl, she didn't like the way that she was welcomed into the Miami world. And at first, when Amada was talking to her and laying down her apology, it felt like the new girl really wasn't paying attention. It was like she was annoyed that she was there. But she felt like that was a lot for you to get on stage. Yes, you apologized, but then you ended up doing a bit much as I was still on stage. And Amada took full accountability that she should not have done that. She did see Tip that night before her premiere party and thought that she was cool. So you coming and doing all of that, it looked like you was the drama. Amada understood that. And, you know, she's a new girl coming in from LA. She'll know how everything goes down in Miami. She's trying to perfect her craft, put herself in a different mindset of being an artist. So she really didn't like her entrance. So then Amada gives her the backstory as to why it led to the altercation with Tip. She talked about meeting Alan, the father of her children, and that they dated for 3 months before she knew that he was married. Because he didn't wear a wedding ring, he didn't post about anybody, he told her it was someone he wasn't serious with, it was a loveless relationship, so she didn't think nothing of it and decided to be with him. But the issue between him and Tip happened on social media. He's going back and forth with her. She's trying to advocate for the wife and everything. And that's when they met up at the bar. Tip wanted to approach her and she didn't want to touch her. She didn't want to address her and just pretty much said, listen, I don't want you in my business. Get out of my business. And then the reason why it led to an altercation was because she mentioned how her girls was going to be embarrassed that she had children with a married man. So the girl was like, oh, so that's when you threw the drink. She said, I want you to throw anything that I can get to her. So it's an understanding that how that can set somebody off because that was real rude. And shout out to Amada for having a real grown conversation to explain the situation. She's recognizing her part that she played in. Now she's just allowing the new girl to create her own interpretations of how she was introduced into Miami. And the new girl wants to create her own circle because she wants to make sure she has the right people around her because she really wants to collaborate with that real Miami sound like Trina and Trig. So she doesn't want to incorporate herself in any kind of mess that's going to tear her view away of being an artist, you know, to brag about how she's been in rooms with Anderson .Paak and Young Thug and she had to conduct herself to be professional. So she doesn't want nothing that can be swirling around the music world that's going to showcase herself to be messy. She's into drama. She's not trying to be a professional artist or be serious. So Amada was like, okay, I hear you. And she wanted to throw out an idea of them really collaborate on a song called Mind Your Business. And she turned it down. And it was up to her to turn it down. Amada wasn't forcing her to do it. She really wasn't trying to sell her. It was just a suggestion. Because she wants to navigate her own time of being in Miami. Okay, cool, that's her prerogative. But what I don't want is someone who's going to think too highly of themselves, to want to look down on how other people have made their mark in the industry. But hey, lots of people who have done bad things when they were coming up as an artist and they still made a way to be successful artists in between that time. So hey, do what you need to do. Moving on, we got Rada. She is in Scottsdale, Arizona. And she's with her mom, her sister, her son, and her friend. They're getting prepared for her induction, which is in 2 days. She is nervous. She hasn't had this feeling. It's been 18 years since she's done this. And then we get into more of Rada's family history. Her family are Cambodian immigrants. They came to America as refugees in the 1980s. They definitely escaped the time of a war of an evil dictator. That's what it sounds like. She's very proud of her heritage and how they are survivors. So Michael calls and she tells her that her family doesn't know the full extent of her and Michael's relationship since they don't watch television. But her oldest, he's aware, he's on social media, he can see what's been going on, and she's been trying to be as honest as she can. But they do have a great relationship. And Michael just asking, how's it been going? Finding a house, and are you happy to be a family with me? And she is still living in the land of milk and cookies as well. To think that once he sees his newborn child, he's going to magically want to leave that side chick life to the side. He's not going to need to travel. Girl, okay. Claudia comes by to check on her girl because Claudia says Rod is one of her closest friends And she wants to wake Rada out of her living in land of milk and cookies to be so trusting. Like, this is some bullshit. So asking her, how does it feel? And are you excited to go to Miami? Do you think that Michael's been behaving? She said he's been doing fine. Claudia was telling her, I get DMs a lot about my friend. So I got something to tell you, but I didn't want to stress you out because you are pregnant. She said, girl, just tell me. She had heard that Michael might have gotten another girl pregnant. Rada was like, what? And the woman that she found out that was pregnant by Michael was somebody that Rada has mentioned to her before. Her name is Nadia. She's like, are you serious? So Rada knows Nadia. Nadia was somebody that they hired to twerk on Michael's podcast, and she had no idea that they had been sleeping around with each other for the longest behind her back. Claudia's not lying. And I'm not just going to tell you this and not bring receipts. And she obviously went back and looked at Michael's social media and have noticed her in his photos. They have traveled to a lot of places together, places he took you that was special to you. So you see how this man is literally having a whole other relationship outside of you. So of course, Rada is crying. She thought she should be over the moon by now. She thought she'll be very, very happy. She said, we did go through a lot to get to this point. Bringing back up, she had a miscarriage while going through IVF. I know that was a lot. But I keep remembering the fact that, girl, you came into this situation wanting to have his baby. Like, I keep remembering the fact that while you wanted so badly to have this man's baby, you did tell Michael to not get attached to his side chicks. And if she finds out that this is the truth, it's not going to work. How else are you going to do it, Rada? Like, you really need to be a woman and stand up, okay? You know how this man gets. I don't know why you act surprised when he goes off the rails after what you've already given him the freedom to do. Now, I do feel bad about this, though, but then again, I don't. But moving on. Michael, this overgrown ass man, literally took upon himself to go cruising to find a side chick because he was given the suggestion to find a side chick that wouldn't get attached to him, that will recognize her place, because Joy mentioned Gael when they had their dinner party. And of course, Gael wanted to do this whole metamorphosis about how she wants to be called Heaven. And when he sees her, she was like, hey, how you doing? She's saying that she's minding her own business. She's been doing her. And she got a DM from Michael, whatever. And she's talking about what Michael got going on. He got a couple of music artists out there. He got a residency in the Bahamas. He's making money moves. And of course, Gael is a gold digger. Okay, she said what makes a man so attractive is when he has money, because the last men she dealt with was broke. She mentioned Fable and Allen. I'm screaming. And then we see them flirting, and it's uncomfortable to watch. He pretty much just wants someone to take the stress away from his life but not get attached. And she said, listen, I don't care about the females. I don't care about what you got going on. I just want my time with you, and that's it. That's all. Feeding him and all that type of stuff, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this no more. Over it. All right, so we have Joy. Joy's pretty much sick and tired of all the lies of her sister creating a narrative that she stole her man. Meanwhile, she knows the real truth, that you've been sleeping with my husband when we were married. So who really at fault here? So when she agreed to sit down with Samantha, they went to this little diner place, and she wants to know what took place. So Samantha tells her the story that you knew I was dating Trick, but you told me not to date him because you say he's everybody else's man. So I guess Samantha cut things off with Trick, but then Joy ended up dating him after that. And Samantha was mad, but she wanted to be supportive and be there for her wedding. But then got upset that Joy tried to villainize her. Okay. Samantha felt like Joy blamed her for something, and they've been avoiding each other. They have became enemies, but she wants Joy to acknowledge her wrongdoing and that she made Samantha out to be the villain. Samantha wants to know, what did I do? Because all I know is that you are a lying, backstabbing bitch. Now, Samantha didn't like to be called out of her name, but what do you expect? How are you going to want to have any kind of respect when you were sleeping with her husband? And then you want to keep on saying, I had him first. What does that even mean? So Joy was like, how can I even talk to you like you're my sister when you've been sleeping with my husband? Make it make sense. Then Samantha says she's reached out to Joy several times to talk to her about it. And then asking Samantha, so you did have sex with my husband? She said, I did. I did sleep with him out of revenge. But that still doesn't clear up whether or not Joy knew you were with him, though. Because all it did was call you out for still wanting to get involved with Trick well after knowing he married your sister. And it goes to show you that he really didn't want to be with you for real, because he ended up marrying Joy. Like, after all the times he probably enjoyed screwing around with you, he still made a serious commitment to marry Joy. Like, this is a mess, okay? Because Samantha wanted to bring up that their father's last wish was for his daughters to make it right. But how are you trying to make it right when you're telling you slept with my husband? Make it make sense. And then Samantha really went low by bringing up Joy's past about how she got involved with Trick and that she was a stripper. Joy said that's not news. Everybody knew I was a dancer. That's nothing of relevancy. But I don't know why Samantha wanted to compare how she got involved with Trick and assumed she would have been a better option for Trick than Joy. Like, girl, for real, you're sitting here, a woman of God, judging your sister how she got involved with her husband when you were sleeping with her husband behind her back. Two wrongs don't make it right. You can't preach the word and then be a hypocrite at the same time. Like, are you sure you're mentoring young girls? Are you sure you're bringing the right word to these ladies on how they can live their lives better when you're still doing ratchet shit like this? Make it make sense. And I was here for Joy calling her out about how you can't be a woman of God and preaching about some messages when you're the same woman who slept with my husband. So she threw her drink and said, I'm done. They got separated by security. So Joy walks away with knowing that her sister did admit she did sleep with Trey while they were married. So what else do you need to say to me? I don't want to hear nothing else from you. They're arguing in the parking lot. Samantha revealed that Joy and her had a conversation about wanting to have a threesome with Trick. She said, I have never asked you for anything like that, which would make no sense at all. When did that conversation come out? She's still trying to get Joy to talk. Joy said, you're a false prophet. She said, you know everything that I have told you has come true and how you've been avoiding this conversation for the last 10 years. Joy said, why would I want to have this conversation with you? Why? I will never forgive you for sleeping with my husband. I will never do that. And then the reveal of this threesome conversation, that's nasty. What's going on there? Like, Joy, did you really ask Samantha to have a threesome with you and Trick? Because that's nasty if you did. But Samantha, you sure that's how the conversation went? And are you sure Joy was the one who brought it up, or was it Trick? Like, somebody got to bring the truth to me, because I think there's still some holes missing. I think there needs to be some truth needing to be discovered. Like, this is a whole mess. But moving on from there. So we end things off with Tip. She is ready to meet up with Alan's wife because she's ignoring the advice of her man. And she knows this is going to make Amada feel away. But she just has to get to the bottom of this situation between Alan and Amada. What's to get down to the bottom of? This is a situation that is clear as day. What are you trying to solve so badly? So we meet the wife, Gina. She has a very thick accent, so I had to look at the screen to read the words of what she was trying to say. And majority of this sit down was her pretty much putting the blame on Amada. It's all Amada's fault. Amada is the one that doesn't realize that Alan doesn't love her. He doesn't want to be with her. Okay. And she has 4 daughters by Alan, but she wants to set an example that she shouldn't want her daughters to see a woman being treated this way, the lies you tell. And they had a plan to come down to Miami to celebrate their 7th year anniversary. Was it a plan all this time, or was it a plan for right now? Because we've seen Alan lie out of his way to avoid having this conversation with you about Amada, about what it is that he wants from her. And he's literally telling y'all both 2 different stories. And you're putting all this blame on Amada, which is crazy to me. To say that Alan doesn't want anything to do with Amada is crazy, because this man keeps on coming back to be with Amada. Ever since we saw him on our screen, this man has always found a way to still be around Amada. To say he doesn't want her, he keeps on spending majority of his time trying to be with her. Even though he dogs her out, he still wants access to her. Then she says he only wants to be around her because of the kids. Not really. We've seen how it all went down. When she was pregnant, he really wasn't there. She was shopping for the girls' clothes by herself. She had her own baby shower by herself. She was in the hospital by herself. While her mom was there, Alan wasn't there. He don't come around for the kids. No, he comes around to someone to fuck with her and make promises to her. Girl, please. This man has done a lot to say he doesn't want to be with her, but still wants to be with her. This woman lives in land of milk and cookies. to assume that her marriage is perfect. How? This man has also had children outside of your marriage. And he's fucked with other women. He's fucked with Gael and Flo. Are you for real right now? Like, this woman is insane. We have seen this man propose to a model on camera. Okay? To say your relationship is perfect, my God, today. I am literally losing my mind here because she still goes on about how Amada is the one manipulating him when it comes to the children, saying she can't trust him to be with the kids unless she's there. Yeah. Now, the only way she would have known that is if Alan would have told her, and he definitely would have twisted it in a way where it looks as if she's trying to manipulate him and force his hand on being there for the kids unless she's there. But if you've known the whole entire story, you know that Alan has never spent any quality time with his children ever since they were born. And he doesn't know how his kids operate because he doesn't come around as much. So hell yeah. Like, don't y'all remember a couple of seasons ago that he wanted to take his daughters out to the DR to meet his mom? But why would you want her to be accepting of that kind of trip when you haven't even been there to form your own relationship with your own daughters? Like, I'm not going to trust you to take them to a different place without me being there to see how everything's going to go down. I'm not going to allow that unless I come myself. That is a mom protecting her children. That's not her forcing his hand to be there because she wants him there. No, 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 no. And then to say Amada's not recognizing that Alan doesn't love her, he doesn't want to be with her, girl. Tip came in and said she's seen both. She's seen Alan treat her like shit, but he's also has shown a lot of affection towards her. When they were on a cash trip last season, he was doing a lot of affections. He was being caring and loving, kissing and all that type of stuff. Then Gina brings up a contract that Amada sent her about Alan being a paid baby daddy. I said, huh? What? Now, unless it was a document that Amada sent of wanting him to put his sperm in a cup because she still wanted to have more children, she just don't want to have sex with him anymore. So she wanted to do the sperm bank, artificial insemination route. So I don't believe that he was a paid baby daddy to have her twins. No. I think it's something else, and y'all just leaving it at that for us to interpret that Amada was so desperate that she needed to pay a man to have kids with her, which I don't believe. And that was pretty much in the episode. Tip talking about this is tea. I want to know if it's real tea once you bring this to Amada and she says that's not true. That's what I want to know. And you know what else I believe that Gina is putting all of this animosity towards Amada is because Amada is dark skinned. Because where is your animosity for Alan when it came down to him sleeping with Gael and Flo? No, because these women were, I think, a couple of shades darker than you, but not as dark as Amada, though. That's where I feel like you are having the more anger towards is the fact that Alan slept with a black woman. And you're pretty much showcasing your coloristic mind of why would he fuck with her when he got with me? That's how I am taking it, because I don't see how you're putting all this blame on Amada when Alan has been the one who has lied to you, has cheated on you multiple times in your relationship, and y'all been married for 7 years. And this man has done a lot in that time, not just with Amada, but with other women. But you're putting all of this on Amada. It's crazy, but that's my interpretation. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong or not, but that's how I feel. But that was pretty much in the episode. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video. I'm see you guys later. Bye.